Hello, everybody. My name is Lydia Waheto. I'm a photographer and a co-founder at Shot by Alama. Shot by Alama is a product and food photography studio based in Nairobi. So today we'll be joined by James, who's an e-commerce entrepreneur. He's going to tell us a bit more about the e-commerce business, how he does some of his own e-commerce photography, and how he engages photographers and videographers in his business. So, James Karibu, um, tell us about yourself before we even get into Tidy, which is one of your businesses. So, tell us something about yourself, maybe something only a few people know, so that you can get to know you better.
As you heard, my name is James Bukusi. I'm a serial entrepreneur, but right now I'm focusing on e-commerce businesses. Something that people don't know about. I don't know, that's strange. But anyway, before getting into this, I was in the farming agriculture business.
Okay.
Where I got some very serious character development before
Okay.
jumping into e-commerce. Before that, I was doing social media and advertising.
Okay.
So that's what gave me the idea and allowed it to be easier to get into e-commerce.
Okay. So what were you farming? Oh, we've lost James a bit. Hey, we lost you for a bit there. I'll just repeat the question. What were you farming?
Oh, I was farming. I did the whole work. So I was doing French beans. I did tomatoes. I tried potatoes, onions,
Yeah.
lettuce,
What?
wiki, spinach.
Oh,
Yeah.
and who were you targeting? Who was your TA?
So there were different target markets. So for the French beans, it was an export market.
Okay.
The Sukuma wiki is just a local market.
Yeah.
Tried getting to supermarkets and things like that, but the quantities you need are crazy.
Yeah.
But when you look, for example, at the farm gate, they want you to sell Sukuma wiki or spinach at say 15 shillings per kilo for it to then make sense.
Okay.
And imagine 1 ton pickup filled with Sukuma wiki. Like for it to be worth a ton, that's going to be 15,000 shillings. So imagine how much work you need to do to produce a ton of spinach.
Yeah.
So when you do the math,
yeah, farming is definitely not easy, and it's not for the faint-hearted either. So
it definitely is not.
yeah. But at least now you can tell us now from your experience. I think it led you to something else. You can now introduce Tidy and tell us a bit more about Tidy, what you do, what you sell, and maybe why you started it.
Okay, so Tidy is tidy.co.k is an e-commerce business trying to help people organize their lives. So we sell products that allow people to organize their homes, their kitchens, the bathrooms, basically get better use of the products they have to get better value. So we sell things like we have pump bottles. So instead of using single-use plastics, you can buy the bulk soap, the 5 liter soap, and then just have bottles that look nice and beautiful in your house to dispense soap from. You have things to organize drawers, where the nature of the drawers and how they come, it's just a wide space. So you can have drawer dividers to have things on one side to compartmentalize things, or you can have even for the drawers in your wardrobes, you can have different things so that you can put different small drawer better and get better value. We have jewelry organizers. Many people lose jewelry. They store them in interesting boxes and trinkets, and they never know they can't see all of them at the same time. And they do know where to wear. So it's like a fight.
Yeah.
Or yeah, so people end up wearing only a few because of the few that are accessible. So by having them displayed well, you can put them in drawers. We're basically trying to help people change their lives.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. I think one of the things I have most trouble is with missing socks. I don't understand that thing, because when you're washing, you can't find one sock. When you've unhand your clothes, you can't find one sock. When you're folding, you can't find one sock. As in, it's a mystery.
Yeah, so there's the mystery of there's a theory for chaos.
Yeah.
Because like when you roll up your earphones and you roll them up nicely and you put them in a drawer, like what happens inside there that by the time you're removing them, it's tangled up with other things.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's what we are trying to solve.
Okay. So I know Tidy is not your only business. Maybe you could give us a bit of background about your other businesses. They are also e-commerce, and tell us how it's like running 3 e-commerce businesses.
So running other e-commerce businesses is it's pretty similar because the structure we have for them is they're all on the same platform. So we run off Shopify, and what you use in one you can replicate over the others. So I'll just focus on Tidy because the other ones deal with different products. There's one that deals with baby products, and another one deals with some toys. So the systems are basically the same. So it's just about who the target customer is, the person who's looking to buy the products, and how you can get it to them as quickly as possible.
Yeah. So I know you've been capturing some of your photography by yourself, your e-commerce photography for your businesses. So could you tell us what motivated you to start?
So in the beginning, because my co-business partner and I, we now before the farming business, we used to run a photography business.
Okay.
So there's some equipment that we have, but also we do a lot of DIY stuff ourselves. So anything that we don't have to outsource, we do ourselves.
Okay.
So we're able to find. So the websites we've done ourselves, and so we find these were the recommended ways to do photography. Then we just find a way to do it ourselves. So because we trying to get other people to get exactly what you think you want can take a lot of time. So and then the number of products with which we try to get, because I think as was mentioned in your other podcast, it's important to have exactly what the product is. The customer needs to see like what they see is what they should be able to get. Because otherwise their trust is very critical. And if there's any change in that, it'll be a problem. So us taking photos was so that when the customer sees it and gets it, it's exactly what they see and not an image taken off another website. That's the short answer.
Okay. So I know for a lot of people, especially entrepreneurs who deal with other things, when they hear about photography, it seems like a very daunting task. It seems like, how do I even start? Well, I think we have shared in our blog a couple of months or years ago about how you can capture photos with your phone. If you need to capture photos, you can't engage a photographer. We've shared that before, but could you share any tips that would help a fellow entrepreneur who's not able to hire a photographer at the moment and they'd like to get good photos of their products?
So I think there's So I think you can go down two paths,
Mhm.
both of which are expensive. One is in time and one is in money. So you could decide to get equipment, so meaning a phone that can take very good photos, and then you can take photos, but you also have to invest in knowledge of how to take good photos, because that's
Yeah.
something you need to understand. It's not just a, or you could so you could learn all these things, or you could pay someone to do it for you. So it depends on what do you have at your disposal. Do you have time?
Yeah.
Or do you have money?
Yeah.
The other thing you have to consider when you're hiring someone is, more often than not, you pay for what you get. So not that you won't pay high prices and get conned by a photographer who's not doing the right job.
Yeah.
But many times the photographer has invested time and effort in understanding what they're doing. Sometimes even if they come and take a short time to do what you would struggle with, it's because they have experience. So when you're paying for a photographer, you can you can more or less guarantee what it is you're trying to get. When you're trying to do it by yourself, now there's a lot of experimentation that you need to be willing to do to achieve the same result, and fail many times before you get what it is that you want.
Yeah.
So it's about what the person has at their disposal. If they have time, let them experiment. Let them get start with the camera that they have access to, experiment and learn, or they can go and try and engage professional services and see whether that can give them a shorter learning curve.
Okay, that makes sense. I know you mentioned you had a photography business before you started on farming. So you have at least a basic understanding of the kind of equipment you need for someone who's um, starting out. They're an entrepreneur, they know nothing about photography. Uh, what would you advise them to get as the most basic equipment that they would use?
I think having access to a clear good camera. If you have the knowledge of how to shoot in not off automatic mode, you can like watch some videos on how to at least manipulate something. And I guess that's what you need, because light is free if it's during the day. You have a well lit background.
Yeah.
That's how to and then try to, so depending on what kind of image. So I've seen there's people who you can either go for the what is it, like a really plain white background. So for that you need some sort of white surface or background.
Yeah.
And then you could try use Canva to remove the background so that you just standardize your picture. Or you could have images that are more lifestyle. So then you need to get something in the background at least, so that it's not just a plain white thing, because sometimes it helps people to see the product in use. So you want to sort of put it in the setting. If it's a storage jar, you might want to put it in the kitchen. So as long as you have a good camera and light, so you can take advantage of the day and take photos.
Yeah.
If you don't have any other lights.
It's a very good point you've shared, especially also about Canva, because I've seen Canva has really evolved and it's helping a lot of people. Not only like I've said, remove the background, like it has helped people do so many other things, including video. Apparently, you can now do video with Canva, and it's pretty good. Actually, it's pretty good.
Yes, those of us who like doing shortcuts and try finding ways to reduce costs really thrive off those apps. But then the prerequisite to those things is obviously that you need to understand what it is that you're doing. Otherwise, you can waste a lot of time and do nothing.
Yeah. So I know for an entrepreneur, time is is like it's like a currency. It's very valuable. So I wanted to find out. Okay, so the Matris have decided to show solidarity with us. Okay, so how do you manage your time? Because I know you basically running a lot of things. How do you manage your time to also be able to capture photography, like how to invest in your photography for your business?
I think for that you need to. It's a matter of prioritizing. So largely, how I'm able to look at it is this an activity that is going to is in part of the process of generating the sales, and if it is, then it's something that you need to prioritize, because if you don't do it, then down the line that's something that comes and then affects the business negatively. So you need to make time to do the things that directly or eventually lead to generation of sales, because without sales, then you're in charity.
So I know a lot of people think if Jemo has done it, I can do it, which is a really good mentality to have, a positive that it can be done, it can be achieved. You can actually get good images for your product. But I'd also like to help people foresee any challenges or pitfalls that they might experience along the way. Are there any challenges you encounter while shooting for your business, shooting products?
Yes. So one of the things that I've seen a saying somewhere that comes to mind. Often you find out that the more you know you don't know. So it's like once you think, okay, I've understood this, so it's like I have a little bit of information on photography. So now you try get into it, then you try read more so that you can understand. And the further you get into it, the more you realize that there's so many factors that you being just an entry level newbie does not know that the professionals know, and that would have saved you a lot of time if someone who understood the subject much more was doing it. So now that so it bring back to the question for what are the challenges. So equipment. So now once you get into that rabbit hole, then now you can see why photographers have a lot of equipment, because there's some things that are just for specific things that they don't use for anything else. And you as a hobbyist almost, then it's like, okay, now you want to get this thing, but if you get it, then for you it's such a small, like you use it for such a short period of time, as opposed to people who are doing this daily, and then now it would make sense for them to get. Because I remember we had a conversation earlier when I was telling you about I want to get a stabilizer, and then I've been watching some videos. Now I need to get some background lights to be able to help with my backgrounds and do something more dynamic, which is something which you have already invested time and money getting background and backdrop and all these things. So all this equipment that now I feel like would make my photography and my video so much better, I don't have. And then the knowledge as well, just going through to understand ISO, what are the things, the different formats, color grading. Like there's so much that I don't know.
Yeah.
That I feel like, yeah. Now, am I going to become a professional video photographer, or am I?
Yeah. Yeah, I totally understand, especially when you mentioned the more you know, the more you don't know. Like you find out you don't know. Like coming from a professional photographer, I understand exactly what you mean, because you like there's no stop to learning in this field. You continuously learning. There's always something new. There's always something that's changing. There's always something new that you need to learn. So I totally understand what you're saying. So I think you've also engaged photographers and videographers in your work. So could you tell us about how you go about selecting a photographer? If you decide to go that route, how would you advise someone to go about it?
So first of all, the proof is in the pudding. So you have to have seen the work they have done. You can't just take someone's word and think this is. Someone says I can do photography, I can do video, and you take their word. So you have to see what they've done. Is it a style that you like? Because people often have a style, even if they can achieve many different things. Usually have their natural what they have is an affinity for them, what they gravitate towards. So is that something that you like? And again, start from a wide pool and then narrow down to what you like, and then now reach out, see their budgets. Now, once you're engaging with them, you're looking at is their budget within what you want, or you're not um, you're not agreeable on that, and explain to them. I think it makes more sense to come with what you want to show them so that they are comparing and seeing is that something they can achieve, as opposed to if you're coming with something from your head, if you can't communicate that clearly, communicate what you want them to achieve, then there'll definitely be disappointment somewhere. So once you show them and you agree, and if you're agreeable to what it is, and it makes sense then to have a script. If you're doing videos, have scripts of what it is you're trying to achieve, or have short lists of the different either like outcomes that you want to come out with, or the shots you want to come out with, because you could use those in other ways after editing, and can be used for different marketing material once you have them. So if you're going to invest time into doing the photography or video, then you might as well have it usable for multiple use cases, not just one use.
Thanks for that. Any challenges you've encountered while dealing with photographers, when you're dealing with videographers? I know it's also not always a smooth sailing. So have you encountered any challenges?
I think some of those challenges were based on just the missed expectations. So it's more of not communicating clearly. The ones I've had a chance to. Can you hear me? So the ones I've had an opportunity to interact with, they're good at what they do, but what was lost in translation is what I was expecting as an outcome versus what I got. And it was more the communication of the brief in everyone understanding. So this is exactly what we're trying to achieve from this particular shoot. So that I think that's where in that communication of the brief, if everyone is not on one page in terms of understanding what it is the outcome is, then there'll definitely be disappointment.
Yeah, I think that was also something that was raised by Jason in our previous podcast, where he mentioned that it's important for entrepreneurs to understand what they themselves want first before they speak to a videographer, to a photographer, because then you'll be able to articulate what it is that you want. So just to encourage people, go through what other go online, search, look at what videos are out there on the specific product you're dealing with, or something similar, or photos that are similar. You'll have a better idea of what you can achieve, and then you can be able to brief your photographer, and hopefully then they can be able to understand exactly what you need. I know the briefing process is like a cornerstone to this
Yeah,
entire to this entire thing. So I know for an e-commerce business, photography and of course videos now in the current world that we're dealing with are important. So, but have you been able to? I don't want to say measure the conversion, but do they help you achieve your business goals, basically?
the images and videos right now are very critical in affecting how you're able to achieve your business goals, which is sales primarily. Because in this day and age, people want to buy from the comfort of where they are. So if they're not able to clearly see what it is that you're selling, if you're not able to convince them of the value of the benefits of what you have that they may need, it will be difficult. People will be more willing to buy things that they feel are legitimate.
Yeah.
And even after that experience, now tell other people and share with other people. So that, I think that really goes along in being able to communicate what it is that you're selling.
Yeah. Yeah. I concur. I concur because for an e-commerce business, remember to the entrepreneurs out there, the client is not seeing what you're selling. That's why they save that page, go sleep on it, come back again, recheck. They check different angles, and they're like, hey, is this what I'll get? And then finally, when they get the confidence, they then proceed to order. So it's very important to showcase exactly what you're selling and what they will receive. So yeah, I think we've covered quite a lot in the discussion. I think, do you have any additional tips you'd like to share with entrepreneurs, or if you have anything that you'd like to tell photographers that maybe photographers miss from an entrepreneur's perspective that they could get better, that is welcome as well.
I think for my advice to photographers or video people would be if you're able to create something that the entrepreneur is able to make money with, or especially if it's a value in terms of something that can help them increase their sales, then the budget stops being an issue. Because if there is a way, not that I've seen, if there somehow is a way to clearly demonstrate the value of your that particular skill set and how it get them more money, then many times the entrepreneur will not have a problem with whatever budget, as long as whatever budget it is, if they can be away for that, it shows that this translates into X sales.
Yeah.
Then I think entrepreneurs will be happy to pay whatever budget you could. But before then, when it's still, if it's not assured, and everyone is trying to minimize their costs, and maybe that's where the budget problems are raised.
Yeah, that's a good point to raise. So yeah, I think we've had a really good discussion. It's plenty of information for people out there. So I'm sure guys will benefit a lot. I'm very grateful to you for joining us today, making the time. I know guys are always busy and chasing things here and there, but that you've made time, we say thank you. Maybe you could tell us, you could tell us where people can shop for Tidy, how they can order.
Yeah. So you can check out www.tidy.co.ke, tidy.co.ke on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok. If you just search it on Google, the name will come up. You can find your bamboo storage glasses for your pantry. You can find spice jars. You can find dispenser bottles, jewelry organizers, and many more as we keep increasing our portfolio.
Yeah. I just want to confirm that the pantry jars are really really beautiful. So because I've seen them and I've been drooling for quite a while. So yeah, I confirm they're really good. So yeah, guys, check them out.
Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you for making the time. So I think we can conclude this discussion.
All right.
So kwaheri, bye.
Bye.
Bye.